Uh, so you have the AEM in your machine, right? Already, or like we need to go for that installation also.
Uh, in this machine, I don't have. It's in my Google Drive. I will install it here.
Okay, so anyway, like if you want that that zip file for that installation also, I will share it. But I will start introducing the steps also, like how to install all those things. Okay.
Okay, sure.
Okay. See, for the AEM to run, right, like we will be needing Java development kit, that is JDK. Okay. And the purpose
Yes.
of this JDK is, see, actually, there are like some technical jargons that people may get confused in terms of this JDK, JRE, JVM, and all. So let's understand something on that bit. So before we proceed on the installation, okay. So
Okay, sure.
so first, like the fundamental difference is what is JDK and what is JRE. So JDK is actually, suppose as a developer, we will be writing the program and then like we will be running the program. So after writing the program in Java, we will be compiling it and then like we will be running the program. So for the developer sake, for development, then compiling, then running, we will be needing JDK. But in the client machine, right, we won't be doing the development. Like suppose after all, I mean, we have completed the development of our application, we need to run that application in the client's machine. So for the client's machine, like there won't be a step for developing and then compiling step of this Java. Rather, we will be just running the application. So just for the sake of running the application, you don't need that elaborate JDK. Rather, you will stick with only JRE, that is the Java runtime environment. So the minimum requirement for the developer, like for developing and running the application, is JDK, but the minimum requirement just to only to run the application, I mean JRE is enough. You don't have to go for JDK. Okay.
Good.
Okay. So then what is this JVM? So JVM is the actual player who will be running your code line by line. Okay. So it is JVM inside. I mean, it is wrapped by JRE. Then the outer is JDK. Okay. So if you want everything, then you need to install the JDK. So this JDK was earlier was owned by Sun Microsystem because they were the initial developers of this JDK. But the thing is, after some time, like it was acquired by Oracle. So now it is with Oracle. So you need to get it from Oracle. And this AEM, right? Like we need a version of at least 1.8 for the AEM to run properly. So how we can download the JDK is from through Oracle. Okay. So you can just type Oracle JDK download. So
Yes.
this will let us this I mean this will go for this downloads page. So here you can, like if you want the latest version, you can directly go and download it here. But since we want, I mean our thing is like any versions after 1.5 1.8 is supported by the AEM, so we will be going for previous versions. Okay, so that one we will be getting it through this Java archive. Okay, archive is the place
Okay.
like where the previous versions of the AEM gets stored. So if we click on this Java archive, so it will take you to this page wherein like it will list out the previous versions. So I'm going to select something on this the minimum required version, that is this Java 8. So here, right, like in this Java 8, there are two major releases happen. One is like till 202 and then after 202. So this one, like I'm selecting this here.
Are you sharing your screen?
Okay, so I mean, you are not able to see my screen.
I'm able to see only any desk on your screen. I'm
Okay,
able to see it, but it's only showing any desk.
okay. So, are you able to see now?
Yeah, can you do any act?
Like I opened the Oracle page.
Okay, that I'm not able to see.
Okay, then like,
It's stuck with the AnyDesk page.
okay. So can you give that request again?
Reconnect, yeah.
Yeah. Can you give the type in like 895.104.936 and then give the connect again?
Yes, yes, I did. It is loading.
Okay. Okay. So let's go for this Oracle downloads page. Will like let helps us to download this JDK.
You're sharing your screen?
Yeah, once again.
Got it. Now I'm able to see.
Okay. So once you type this Oracle JDK download, so that will list out like this like Google suggestions. So here like
Got
through this Java archive, you will be seeing like what are the different previous versions of this JDK. Like I'm going to select something which is the lowest thing which is necessary for this AEM to run. So that is this Java 8. So yeah, right, like you will be seeing like since like within any I mean with every major release there will be small minor releases also. For example, this 8, right, 8U301, then 8 8U291, like that, like minor releases also will be there. Let's go for the last release of this JDK 8. So here, right, like there will be different for different platforms. This Java will be, I mean, the JDK would have been written. So I'm going to select something which is for my machine, that is like a Windows machine. So like there will be two different things like Window Cross 86, Window Cross 64. So depending upon your processor, like you have to install the one which is suitable for you. Like how do you get that information is like you have to go for here, like then click on this PC. Then if you click on this properties, you will be seeing like what is your machine's thing. Like it is a 64 cross machine. Okay. So then if you click on this one, this will download. So before that one, it will ask you to register, like you have to provide your mail ID, everything. And then after that only, you will be able to download this particular JDK. After
it.
downloading this executable file, you have to install it one. So after installing, so it will create a folder structure within your C drive. So within your C drive, this program files. So if it is like Window Cross 86, it will be under here. Since ours is Window Cross 64, so the Java would have been installed in this program files folder. So you can go here and then look for your Java. So here, right, like you have to give your JDK, like you have to take your JDK path, because this one you have to configure it in your system variable. So let's go and check. I mean, like how to install, I mean, how to add this in environmental variable. I'm just going and typing environmental variable. So that gives me like edit environmental variables for your account. So like by selecting this one, you'll be seeing a provision where we can modify the environmental variables. So you should be very clear in understanding what is the difference between user variable and what is the difference between system variables. User variable is like for in a particular system there will be many users. So anything which you configure here, right, that will be applicable only for that particular users, whereas anything which you configure in the system variables, right, that will be applicable for all the users using your particular desktop, okay, like desktop or laptop. So this is common across all the users. This is for your particular user. So here, right, like the way to mention your particular thing. Suppose if I need to mention this JDK means I have to use this particular keyword called Java underscore home. So you can add it, like since it is already been added, I'm not adding. And if it is in your new machine, you can just click on new and then add Java underscore home,
Good.
and then add this value, like the copied value till your JDK path. Okay,
JDK.
and then you need to add this in the path variable also. There are two path variable. So here also is path variable is there, and here also is path variable is there. Generally what people will do is they will configure this Java underscore home in the user variable, and in the path variable they will be using this as a variable. So the thing is, once you have this Java underscore home, right, so it can be accessed by a variable name. For example, let me go for a command prompt and then execute and then show you how it is accessible. So you can just put cmd means it will help you to open the command prompt. So I'm opening the command prompt. So here, right, you can type echo. Echo means it is just like a print statement. So echo,
Yeah.
then within this one, like so this is actually a kind of a kind where to mention that this particular thing is a variable. So Java underscore home. So if you do like this one, like it will list out what is the variable, like Java underscore home means for that one. So this means like this is my path for the JDK. So this particular thing I will use to configure my path variable here. So here, right, so I don't have provision to edit this one. So just for example, like here, right, I can mention my path variable, I mean my path till the JDK and then slash bin. So either I can do it like this one, or else I can mention it like okay. So in this case, right, this particular thing will be replaced by the value which we have set it in this Java underscore home. So then slash bin means it's a path till our till our bin folder. Okay, so let me click OK here. So and then you can check what is the thing which is configured for the path. For example, like I have configured for the, I mean the path means like I can put just like this one and then put path means it will display me what is the path that has been configured. So you can see like my program, like see this is the path which I have configured. It is listing me like path to the path to my Java folder. Okay, and then let's go and see like what is there inside that one. So within this bin folder, right, you can see many folders like so you can see like java.exe something, right. So this is actually the Java executable thing, actual Java thing. So by adding it in the environmental variable, so you can use commands like Java. Suppose I need to find the version of Java means Java version. So it will list down what is the version of Java that is installed in my machine. But if you are not giving the path till this bin in your path variable, it will not, you will not be able to execute this particular command. The reason being is this actually what this Java means, this is a keyword that runs this application, like this Java application. So there we are actually running a command, that is that -version. So that is the reason like we need to configure this in this path variable, in this environmental variables. So if in the command prompt or anywhere in your computer, if you want to execute this particular command, this Java means your path variable should be set in a proper way. Otherwise this particular thing will cause an error, like it is not able to understand what is written like Java something. So because this is a keyword, so that is the reason it will not be able to understand. So once you set that path variable properly, our command prompt will be able to understand what is Java, and then it will execute this particular command like -version. So -version lists down what is the version that has been installed in your machine.
Good.
So after this one, like you need to install AEM. So once you register into your, like since your company will be having that license, So you can either get it from your organization, or else like you can register yourself as a developer in Adobe, and then like they will be giving a trial version that will be valid for 1 month, something like which they will be which will be mentioned in the policies like that one. But beyond 1 month also you can be using that one. Okay, so through that you will be able to download the executable file, like what to say, this jar file for the AEM.
Got it.
So once you have this jar file and then license file, so there are two different modes, like in which like you can start your AEM, either in the author mode or in the publish mode. So author mode, so who will be using the author mode is mostly the content creators. They will be using the author mode, and also like the developers. So developer do the coding, and this coding, right, last they will be verifying it in the author instance before moving it to the publish instance. So first let's see like how to start an AEM in the author instance. So once you have that quick start.jar file, so you have to rename it, because through that renaming, like you see, right, AEM-author-P4502. So by renaming like this one, we are giving an instructions to AEM that please start this AEM instance in the author mode, and then in the port 4502. Suppose if I want to start the AEM in some other port, means I will be changing it, like instead of 4502 I can make it 4504, or else like I can make it 4506. So for the author instances, it is to be clearly like you should keep in mind that, so that is also the practice also. All the author instances will be starting in the even port. You should not use odd port for the author instances. That is actually kind of not a strict enforcement, but it is a general practice. So keeping the even number for the author port. So the first and foremost thing is like try to use the port number 4502, because this is the default port used by the Adobe. Okay. So then if this 4502 port is already been occupied, then in that case you can go for different ports. And then this particular hyphen author mentions that we are going to start the AEM in the author mode. And then if I double click this one, so your AEM will start, but it will take 5 minutes. For the first time, like once you click on this one, it will start creating this CRX hyphen quick start, and then it will create folder structure like this one. Okay, so if I allow it, like if I remove this one, so suppose if your AEM instance is corrupted, or if you want to permanently remove the AEM instance from your machine, in that case you can remove this CRX hyphen quick start folder, because this is the folder where like all the information pertaining to your instances will get stored. So by deleting this quick start folder, you are expelling that particular instances from your machine. So try not to delete this one. Okay.
Got it.
So suppose if I so for the first time installation, this won't be available. So only after you click, because like from once you download the jar file, you will be getting only this .jar file and then this license.properties. So after you click, after you rename like this one, and then if you click like this one and click this jar file, this CRX quick start folder will get created, and then it will create all the folder structure like this one. So we will understand this through our course, like what is the meaning for each folder, sir? Because if I say no, like you will not be getting that full understanding about what these folders are, but slowly like you will be able to understand. But one thing which is necessary is like you should understand how to make use of this log folders. Okay, this log folder gives the information about your AEM instances, how your AEM instances is running properly. Suppose if your code is throwing some error, you will be able to get the some information of why that error is happening through this particular log files. Okay. So periodically, like this log files, like should be, there will be a huge amount of logs that may get generated. So you need to delete few log files. Okay. So always have this notepad in your machine. So to do that, like what to say, to analyze these logs, because this notepad have some certain capability that is not available in your notepad for doing that log analysis. Okay.
Got it.
Okay, so here, right, like the mostly like we will be using only this error log. Okay, so this error log which will list out like what are the different errors that is actually happening in your application. Okay, so so you can see like what these different errors that is there in my machine. So if I want, I mean, and the thing is, I can delete like if I do this one, that I am deleting the total logs, and then if I refresh my page, right? So if there is any error in the page, that newly created that the newly created file, right? That can be updated like this one file reload from this means the latest will get updated. That will see and that will show me like what is the recent error. So rather than so because this is the file that has been used by almost all the classes in our Java, so any place any error happens, so this will get listed here. So this file will be some 1000 2000 lines of code, so you will not be able to understand each line. So that's the reason like you have to like as a developer, like you have to keep this one simple, like you have to delete everything, and then next time when you reproduce that error, and then you can go and see this one like what error has happened, like it will list down like which line, which piece of Java code that is throwing an error. So we will see this one in detail. So let me show you, let me tell you like what are the different environments available in AEM. Okay, so AEM, like we have seen like see some error is going on, so that's why like it is actually like refreshing at the back end. So that's why like I'm able to see some updates on this error log. Okay,
Good.
okay, so now I have started my AEM in an author mode. Okay, and then so there will be different environments being in a software development life cycle, right? Like you will have coding that is first you will be doing the coding in the local environment. After doing the coding in the local environment, you will be pushing it into the development like dev environment. Dev environment is a shareable environment across the different developers. For example, like you are a developer, you will be having some your colleagues, like different types of developers, and once you do the coding, once your friends finishes the code together, like all the people, they will be pushing the code into the dev environment. And then after doing, I mean, after doing the development in the dev environment, doing that unit testing, everything, so we will be pushing into the testing environment. Testing environment is in wherein like your company testers, right? They will be testing your applications. So that is kind of a thing that is happening in the testing environment. After the testing environment, it will be moving to UAT or pre-prod environment, wherein like your customers like they will be doing the testing, all those things. So after that pre-prod or then the event environment, finally it reaches the live environment or else the production environment. Okay, so we see like different environments coming into the picture. But how to identify like this is a local environment, this is a dev environment. So there should be a way to identify, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so that we call it as a run mode. Okay, for example, like this AEM, right? It is, we can say like AEM can be either in an author mode or else publish mode. So that is one kind of separation. Then it can be a local environment, it can be a dev environment, it can be a prod environment, it can be a UAT environment, or it can be a test environment. So this is another one differentiation. Okay, so for example, if I want to start this AEM in an author mode and also in the local environment, in local environment means, so I need to mention somewhere like this particular environment is a local environment. Okay, okay, let's see like how to do that one. Okay, there are many ways to mention that this particular environment is a local environment. So let's go one by one. Okay. Okay, let me stop this AEM. So go for the command prompt and for this part, for example, like if I just put command means, so it will go for the command prompt for this particular path.
Yeah.
Okay, so in this particular part, I can access these three files. Okay, for example, like if I want to access something means, then I have to go for this particular folder. So that I can do it in two different ways. Either I can put cd quick start, or else like I can directly go here and then put command prompt. Okay, so two different ways you can do that one. For example, but I prefer to stay in this author instance, it's author folder itself. Then I put command prompt. So I am getting, I mean, I'm going for this particular like path. Okay, in the command prompt. So here, right? So if I want to start this AEM means either I can double click and then I can start. But the other way is just copy this jar file name.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, Java jar, then just put this one. Okay, so this will start, but you will not get that you are seeing that an orange color window wherein like it's showing like whether your AEM starting or not, right? So that you will not be seeing. So to see that one, you will be putting some additional command like -GUI. GUI is graphic user interface. So by doing
Mm-hmm.
like this one, right, it will start your AEM instance. Okay, so you are seeing this particular thing, right? So this will not come if you are not putting this -GUI. So you should be very clear that you should mention this -GUI to get this particular thing. Otherwise also it will start the AEM instance, but you will not be able to see this particular, I mean, you will not be able to see this particular screen, so which shows the progress, like whether it is completely started or in the process of starting. Okay.
Got it.
Okay, so here, right, like you should understand like what are the different things that is coming here. Okay, so here if you see, right, we are setting the we are starting the AEM in local comma author. Okay, okay, but I just mentioned author, right? How it is starting in local, that I mean local author. The thing is I
Mm-hmm.
have made another one changes in the configuration. So within the CRS quick start file, so after your first start, in the sense, first start is to mention whether it is an author to publish instance. So for example, like this particular, if I click on this particular jar file, it will create this quick start folder, right? So that time we will be able to mention only whether it is an author instance or publish instance. So after doing that one, so you can go for the CRX quick start file. There you can go for this conf folder. There you will be seeing sling.properties. So you can right click and then open with notepad plus plus. So there at the end you can mention something called sling.run.modes. Okay. Okay. See, there is a property called sling.run.modes. If it is not available, you can add at the end. But since it is already available, like it is mentioning local comma author, we are starting our AEM in the local author instance. Okay, so that is our, I mean, how like we have started our AEM in the local comma author. Okay, so it is a local environment and then author mode we are started.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so this is one way of mentioning in that your environment is a local environment, but there are other ways also to mention. Okay, so let it start. Like I will go it. Uh, I will show it in the other ways. Like after it gets started.
So this is 6.4 version or?
No, this is 6.5 latest version. So after this one, like everything is in cloud only, right? So after 6.5, there won't be any version like that you will get as a quick start file.
Got it.
Okay. Now our AEM is instance got started. So we will be using the default administrator password, that is admin.
Yeah.
Okay. But before going here, right, let's see like whether we have started our AEM in a local environment and then author mode. Okay, so that how you can verify is you have to open your system console. Okay, so localhost 4502 slash system slash console. So this is actually a kind of an informative dashboard wherein you see you can install your bundle. You can see like how your bundle is performing and what is the current status of your application. So everything can be seen here. So here like I can go for the status, then I can just click on this Sling settings. Okay, so in this Sling settings, right, I will be able to see what is the different run mode that is that currently applies for my AEM instance. Okay, so here you can see like different options available, different things, but we have given only this author and local from our side. Okay, so author local. So this current AEM instance is a author mode, is started in an author mode, and then it is of a local environment. Okay, okay, suppose now like I said, like there are different ways, right? Let's go for the next way. Okay, so we have created, I mean, we have given that sling that run bird modes in this sling properties, right? I'm deleting this one. Then I will go for this command prompt. So java -jar, then our file name, then -r, okay, space author, okay, comma. So local, right, like rather than again starting the local mode, I'm starting in the dev mode. Okay, like dev environment. So you can see, right, like setting sling.run.modes to author command dev from command line. Okay, so let us give some time for it to start completely. So since I didn't put the -GUI, you are not seeing that particular thing. Okay, so I'm just closing it again. So if you want to shut down your server, just press Ctrl C. Okay, so that will stop your server. Okay, then here I just put -GUI. Now you will be seeing the graphical user interface, that is this particular thing. Let us give some time for it to start properly. Okay, now AEM has started in the dev author, I mean dev environment author mode. So let's confirm it by just going for the system console. sling settings. So here you have seen, right, like we have started our AEM in the dev environment and author mode. Okay. Okay, so first time, like we have changed this particular here quick start conf then sling properties. So there we have added sling dot run dot modes, and then second time we actually removed that one because we don't want that to be like present there. Rather we wanted that particular information to be given through the command prompt. So for that we have just used this -r and then author comma dev. So -r means like run mode author comma dev. Okay, like there's a space, there's it's not equal to. Okay, so this is second way of starting. Like I'm just once again shutting down my server, so either I can press Control C here, or else like since I have this particular window, right, I can just press it here. So this will stop my instance, or else I can press Control C here, so both will be stopping my instance. Okay, let's give some time because it will be closing it like one by one, the entire application, right? So it will take some 1 or 2 seconds for that one. So the third way is there is an additional, I mean same thing, like you need to go for your command prompt. Okay, then java -jar, then just mention this particular jar file name. So and then you have to, for the graphical user interface, you put -GUI. So earlier way, like what you did is like we did like -r dev comma author, right?
Yeah.
So now we are not going to do this way. Rather there is another way. Like before this particular like mentioning this -jar, there is an option to mention the parameter like -d sling dot run dot modes equal to author. Now I am going to start in the UAT mode. Okay, like test mode, like test environment. I can mention like this one, and then I can start. So now you see, right, setting sling dot run dot modes to author comma test from system property. Okay, so this is another way of mentioning the thing. I mean mentioning that I want to start my AEM in the test environment and author mode. Okay, so again, like if it goes like we will verify it. But now normally the question arises, what if I give all the three, like sling property is also there, then -r also is there, and -d also is there. So if I give all the three, what will happen? Like which one will be given preference? So that is the next thing that we are going to see. So now let's like let it get complete, then we will be seeing that one. Okay, now we have started that AEM mode in the test environment and author mode. Okay, that you will again be able to verify through the status sling settings. So our AEM started to respond properly. Then if I refresh, right, instead of dev, I should be able to see test. So are you able to see the test? Now it is a test environment, and then the mode of like whether it is an author mode or publish mode, that is a differentiation, right? So that for that we are saying that it is an author mode. Okay. So now there is an order of preference that comes into picture. Like I have three different ways. Like either like I can put like sling.run.modes, like using the sling.properties file. That is one option. And then I can put like -r. That is the second option. And the third option is -d sling.run.modes. So all the three we are going to see. I mean, we are going to put. Let's see like how it is. I mean, which one it takes the priority. So here I am mentioning local, and then let me close this instance first. Then so java-jar, then like our jar file name, then -gui. This is the plain way of starting, but here like I can give like -r space, then author comma dev. I'm mentioning it here, and then before this jar file, like I am mentioning that -d sling.run.modes equal to author comma test. Okay, so see what it has been, though we have given many things, so it is saying, right, I am taking the value only from sling.run.modes to author comma local from the sling properties file. So I am going to give first preference for this one. I am not going to consider this dev like from the command line, or else author comma test from the system property. Okay, so these things I'm not going to give the consideration. See, this is the order of preference. So the first preference is from the properties file, like sling.properties file. Okay, and then the second preference is the one which you are given through the -r option. Okay, so that is what I'm saying, right? That is why it is saying like I am ignoring this value. So this is the second preferred value, and the third one is, it is the third preferred value, -d sling.run.mode. So that is author command test. This is also it is ignoring. Okay, so this is the order of precedence. So why we are starting AEM in different environment and different modes, like why we are giving some priority for this particular concept is like there is like OSJ configurations and all, right, that comes based on this config.author, config, all those things, right? That is purely dependent on this particular thing. That is why like some knowledge on this is important. And then you should also be in a position to test. Okay, so you have been handed some environment, and then like there you should be in a position to say that this particular environment is a test environment. I know that one. So how, like by going for the system console, like status, you can sling settings, you can click. So this one will give you the information. So this one. So see, now it has been started in the local and then author. Okay, so we have seen that. So I mean, do you have any questions till now?
No.
Okay, so far what we have seen is, we have seen like how to download this JDK, how to install the JDK, and then give the appropriate environmental variables for our JDK. Okay, so you have to mention java_home, and then you will be setting the path variables accordingly. Afterwards, you will be checking whether your Java is installed properly or not by just putting java-version. So we have tested whether our Java has been set up properly or not. Afterwards, we have downloaded the jar file, and then along with the jar file, you have to place your license file also. and then if you just rename your folder like AEM-author, you will be starting the AEM in a author mode, and then you have to mention your port number using that -p parameter, like that is a part of the file name. Like, so by doing like this one, you are starting your AEM in a author mode and then in the port number 4502. Okay. Okay, suppose I have a question here. Like, suppose if I put AEM-publish-P4503, okay, then it will start the AEM in a publish mode. Okay, but I have already started my AEM in a author mode. So is it good to convert it into a publish mode? The environment. So suppose I have an instance already running in the author mode. So is it okay for me to convert into a published thing?
It will override the existing directory folder. It will like install.
No, the thing is, that is something which is not recommended. Okay, so anything like this, once an instance is an author instance, it should always be an author instance. You should not change from author to publish. So if at all you want to create another publish instance, means, so you have to copy this license file and then this file and then create separate folder for this one, and then you have to start your instance like this one. So you should not convert an author instance to a published instance or a published instance to an author instance. That is not recommended, because the folder structure will get created accordingly. This CRX quick start folder, right? So this folder structure and then some configurations and all is totally different for author and publish. That is the reason you should not change your author to publish or publish to author like that. So if you at all you want, means you have to either delete the CRX quick start folder and recreate altogether. Okay, so that is the recommended way. Because like many of time, like I faced an issue that time I was not knowing this one. What I did is like I will use the same thing, just by renaming I will be trying to convert. But the thing is, this CRX quick start file has some folder structure that is customized for both things. So if we are not if you are renaming and trying to make it in a different way, then in that case, right, it starts to behave differently. Though it is a published instance, you see certain behaviors which are actually for the author instance to be available in the published instance. That is totally a different thing, right? So you should avoid changing the mode, like whether author mode or publish mode, right? That one you should not interchange. Okay. So now let's see, I have started this AEM. So directly I just went with this admin password. Okay. So that is a case which is possible in the local environment. But if you go for the IN environment, dev environment, something like you will not be able to use this admin credentials. Rather, you will be having different, they will be giving you the separate credentials, or else there will be some separate credentials that will be shared across the developers, like that one. So let's see how to start or how to manage that particular users thing. Okay, so for that one, we call it as an user administration. So you can reach to that window by typing user admin. Okay. Okay, so user admin, right? Here you will be able to create users and groups. Okay, so generally we will be first creating the group, and then only we will be creating the user and then assign it to a group, and then all the permissions, right, we will not be giving for a user. So user level permission is not accepted, because you will face a lot of problems, and that is one of the general guidelines which Adobe gives, don't give permissions per user, rather give it per group and then assign the user to the particular group. So that is the general recommendation that Adobe is encouraging. So let's see how to create a group. So create group. Okay, I am putting AEM hyphen developer hyphen group. Okay, now I can go and check the group AEM. Just I put AEM, I can see AEM hyphen developer hyphen group. So here you can check what are the different things that is there. So what is the group, what is the members, who are all present in that particular group, that you can see it here. And then permissions. So your AEM, right, is actually using a repository called CRX repository. So that repository you can like access just by going it to this tools icon. Like you can see the CRX CLI. So this is the repository view. This is actually the browser view of your repository. So all our data, right, it will be in the form of folder structures. Okay. So by assigning the permission here, you will give the control for the user of that particular group, the permissions. Okay, whether he can view or he can do all those things. Okay. So here there are different things: read, modify, create, delete, and all. So by assigning the read permissions, that particular user has some permissions to read the contents of the folder, but he will not be able to do anything. Like he will not be able to modify and all. So if you want some like persons to modify that particular content, then you can do for the modify permission. So anything if you want him to create like under that particular thing, like you can give him the create permission. If you want the particular group user to delete the particular content, then in that case you can give the delete permission. So these are the major permissions normally like we will be giving for we will be giving. Okay. So once again I'm repeating. So the CRXT Lite gives us the repository view, like what to say, editor based or else like a browser based repository view, view of the repository. And by using this user admin, like we will be able to give control for each users, like whether he should be able to read the content, modify the content, create any content or delete the content. So all those permissions, right, we will be able to give through this user admin. Okay. So like we actually don't go too much elaborate here, but like slowly like we will be able to understand. Okay, because we have a lot of work pertaining to these permissions in our exercises. But for now, right, like I am giving all permissions for this particular AEM developer group. Okay. So I just want to say minimizing this one and then give entire permissions, like he will be able to do everything. So it's more like an admin permission. Okay, now you can refresh and once again check whether the permission is applied properly. So generally like some permissions will not be applied properly because AEM, right, by default don't allow us to give every permission to everyone. Rather it will force us to double check. So that's why like even if I given all the permissions here, like it will not be passed to all the user in all the folders. Rather we have to give explicitly. So it is kind of a double check which is actually Adobe putting on us whether like we are giving it properly or not. So now I am giving it, I mean all the permissions to this one because I just want to keep it simple. Like slowly like we will understand like more on how to restrict people from seeing something. Okay, now I have opened a group, and then like as I said like we will be using user credential only to log in, so we will not be using the group credentials, right? So for that we have to create an user. So for that first I will be creating one user called AEM developer user. For that I will be create user, then AEM hyphen developer hyphen user. So I will use the same thing for the password also. So these three are the mandatory credentials. Okay, save. Now I am going for this group. Okay, and then just members, right? I'm going to drag and drop this particular user to this group. So this is how I have given this user, like this particular user, right? Like I have been assigning this user to this particular group. Okay. So first I went for this group, then in the members, right, I'm dragging and dropping this guy. By doing this, I'm assigning this user to this particular group. So once I assign this user to a group, I can check what are the permissions that is getting applied for this particular user. So now I'm clicking this user, then you can check on the permissions. So see, Since by assigning this user to this group, so he is getting all the permissions that is pertaining for this particular group. Okay, but you should not change any permission in the user level. Rather, if you want to give any permissions, you have to again go for this group only, and then change the permissions accordingly in the group. Now
Got
let's
it.
let's open this AEM in by using this developer user credentials. Okay, so I am going for incognito window. Are you able to see this incognito window?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Now I'm putting like AEM hyphen developer hyphen user. So this is the user credentials. I have given the same credentials in the password also. So now I am able to open the AEM. Like I have created a user, and then through that user, like I'm able to access the AEM. Okay. So you can check like what is the user information. Like you can go for CRXT like. So see the user like AEM hyphen developer hyphen user. Okay.
Got it.
So we have logged in with this particular user. Okay, now let's go for so far any doubt, like I have taught you like how to open AEM in different modes, and then like I have taught you how to create users, and I taught you like how to assign user this to this particular group, and then open the AEM in that particular user. So till this one, like you have any questions?
Uh, One question I mostly is like if I send user to two groups, one is author group and one is tester group, something like that.
Yeah.
Will the permissions will be overridden or both the
No, the
permissions
permissions
will
will
be
not be overridden. The user, right, will be having both the permissions. Like in the sense, see, user will have one set. I mean, group. I mean, that particular first group will be having different sets of permission, and second group will be having different sets of permission. Both this permission will be applied to this particular group.
okay. Okay.
Okay, so in the sense, like he will be. So at the single time, he will be developer also. He will be tester also. Like he can perform both the actions of a developer and tester.
Got it. Got it. So both
Okay.
will work. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
So now let me help you familiarize these different things. Though we will not be using most of the things, like only few things only we will be using. Okay, but slowly like we will. So don't worry like if you're not getting everything in a single thing. Slowly like we will be going on this one only. Okay. So if I put localhost 4502. So it will take you to this particular window. Okay, so just putting like localhost 4502, you will be taken to this particular dashboard. Okay, after you log in, so this is the landing window for you.
Mhm.
So here two different things. One is general navigation and then tools navigation. Okay, so general navigation is the place where you will be able to reach to your sites, reach to your assets, reach to your experience fragments. Okay,
Mhm.
and then tools is the place where you will be able to see the repository workflow, then other things and all. Okay, now first let's go for this navigation, and then we'll see like what is the site which is given by Adobe. Okay, so this Adobe, right, like this Adobe Experience Manager, by default it will come with some sample content or sample site. So for example, like if they are releasing some product, they should give us some information about some sample site, right? So for that, Adobe has given us some sample site. So you can just go and go to your navigation tab and then click on the sites. So this will show us like some sample site which is created in AEM. Okay. So
Got
B
it.
retail is one of the sample site that has been created. Okay. So here you see, right, like if you click on this one arrow icon, you will be able to go to the sub pages. So if you click this one, so this will not do anything. Like if you click this one, right, you see this one, right? So this will select that particular page. So if I want to select means I will be clicking on this one. But if I want to go for the sub pages means I will be clicking on this arrow icon. Okay. So like this one you can go. Okay. So here, right, like you should be like by seeing this one, right, you will be getting confused like why this we retail like different countries, and then here like different languages like that. So the thing is, this Adobe, right, it is having a concept called multi-site management. Okay, so what it is saying, right, suppose this particular product, right, it will not be bought by smaller companies and all. Generally, the companies which is having presence in the multiple countries, right, generally they only have the budget. In the sense, the license for the AEM is at least 40 lakhs rupees. Okay, so generally, smaller companies they don't buy this product. Bigger companies, bigger multinational companies only generally buy this product, and then they will be having sites in different countries. For example, I mean they will be having presence in multiple countries, so they will have different sites maintained for different countries. For example, like they have a site in Indian languages, for example in Hindi and then in Tamil something, or else like they will be having countries like US where like they will be in English and some other preferred language there, like which is the second most spoken language in US, like that. So each country like they will be having two different locales kind. So and then like sometimes the content may be similar, just like there will be a translated content, like the same content but in different language that is spoken, like they will have the content, or else altogether the content may be different. Okay, so to manage that one, right? So we need to maintain some hierarchy. Okay, so for that one, this Adobe has come up with some hierarchical way of creating the site. For example, first you create your brand. Like suppose if you are an suppose a company called Orlix means, then the brand is an Orlix brand. So within that one, like you can have the presence in different countries. For example, like US, Canada, Switzerland, like that it is there. So within that US, you will be having your site in two different languages. So that English and then Spain like that, Spanish like that. So this organization is, this is how like they organize their structure, so that it becomes efficient for them to manage their site content across multiple languages in multiple countries. Okay, so that is why they follow this thing. Okay, here let's see, let's go for this language masters. So just go with my flow so that like you will be able to understand more. So in the V retail language masters English, so these are like some of the sample pages. Let me just open this main page. So if I need to open any page, just I will select that page and then click on the edit button. So edit button opens that particular page. So first time it will take some time like this one only to start. Okay, so this is totally acceptable. Okay, so this is the default AEM site which has been given by Adobe for us to learn. So if I want to edit something, right, what I will do is I will just click this one and then there will be an hammer icon. So with this icon, I will be able to edit the site. Okay. So each this particular thing, right, we mention it as a component. Okay. Are you able to get in?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay, let us add one component and then like try our editing. Okay, so this is that default, in the default website there are few content there. So just we will add up one content there. Okay, so so this is actually called as a this, you see the drag components here. So what does it means is you can drag component here. Okay, so this is actually, this particular component is called as a responsive grid or else a parses component. So this component lets us add any component inside that one. Okay, let's first see how to add something there. Let's, and then we will understand what is components in the next class. Okay, so for example, like if I click on this plus icon, I am able to add these particular items into my page. For example, like let me go and add a text component. Okay, by adding the text component, right, I am just like this particular thing is coming, like this text is coming. Okay, so here if I just click and do this edit option, or else this hammer icon, I can do like, let me do this edit thing. So this lets me to edit a page. For example, this is the content added by the trainer. Okay, so we have added this particular content. Okay, so suppose if I want to change the content, means by trainer and edit it for the first time. So likewise, like now what I have done is I have added a component, like a text component, and then I have added a content, and that content is getting displayed. Okay, so now the naturally the question arises, so what is this component, what is like by doing this one, like how he was able to display the content here, and then the content also persisting even after like the browser is getting refreshed, right? So what happens in the backend? So all those things, like you will be having a uh, you will be having doubt. Okay, let's understand what is a component. Okay, so this component is I mean, let's see like how this is organized in the backend. Okay, let's go for this slash content we retail language en main page in the backend. Okay, so this is the view of the site, like which a developer or which a content author will be seeing. But to see what is there in the backend, right, like we have to see it in the, I mean, what is stored in the repository, we have to go and see the crxt lite. So if you just type that url, right, you will be able to see the structure, like a repository structure of this particular path. So I am just opening this particular path, like slash content till the slash main I copied, and then I have opened that particular page here. So this is the repository view of that particular page. So this page, right, like you can see like the information getting stored in the form of notes. So there is a thing called main. So this is that main. Below that one, you can see that the information is getting stored in the form of like hierarchical way in the form of nodes. So each of these nodes, right, is having some properties associated with this one. So this is having some property, so this is having some property each node, and then you can see like there is a main node, and then below the main node you see like jcr content, you can see root node, you can see hero image node, response grid, start node, text node, submit node, form in node, then again text node, all those things. And then the information which you have edited, right, it is getting stored here like in this text node. So you can see there's a property called text, so where your information is getting saved. So suppose if I add additional thing, right, suppose let me add another one, let me put plus one and then add another one text. Okay, I have added another one text. So with this one, what is happening, let me just refresh this one. Okay, so with this one, then there's another text node that has been added. So let me edit something and then check. So I have added something on that one. So when I refresh this one, right, I am seeing that whatever like I entered, right, that is getting saved here. So there is some connection between this particular window, like and then this repository view. So anything you make some changes, that is getting that has an impact on this particular repository. So and then that is having like you add, right, like whatsoever you are adding, that is getting stored as a in the form of nodes and properties. Okay, so in the
Got
next,
it.
yeah, so in the next class, right, like we will see like how, I mean, what is this component and how this getting interlinked and all. Okay, so Anil, like I'm ending the session now, so we will continue tomorrow. Okay,
Tomorrow same time.
yeah, same time only, and then I will, I mean, share the recordings with you in YouTube. Okay, so you can revise this one like before coming for the next chapter. Okay.
Definitely.